Have you ever wondered why introducing yourself in English feels so simple, yet so powerful? At first glance, it seems like just saying your name or where you are from, but in reality, it opens the door to every new relationship, conversation, and opportunity. Imagine walking into a room full of strangers. Your first words decide how people see you and how the conversation will flow. In today's lesson, we're going to explore the secrets behind self introductions, discover why they matter so much, and learn how a few simple phrases can completely change the impression you make. When you think about introducing yourself in English, the very first step always begins with your name and greeting. It may sound too basic, but this simple part of communication is what builds the foundation of your confidence and creates the very first impression. Think about it. When you meet someone new, what's the very first thing they expect from you? They expect to know your name. Without a name, the conversation cannot even begin. That's why learning how to clearly and naturally say, "Hi, I'm Anna," or "Hello, my name is David," is more powerful than it seems. It is not just a word, it is the starting point of connection. Now let's look deeper. The way you say your name already sends signals about your personality, your confidence, and even your emotions at that moment. If you whisper your name shyly, the listener may think you are nervous or unsure. But if you smile and say your name clearly, even with simple words, you immediately create an atmosphere of warmth and openness. This is why practicing your name with different greetings is so important. You can try saying, "Hi, I'm John," in a friendly tone, or "Good morning, my name is John," in a polite and professional tone. Each version has its own place, depending on the situation. Another small but very effective step is to add a short greeting phrase after your name. For example, you can say, "Hi, I'm Maria. Nice to meet you." Or, "Hello, my name is Leo. It's a pleasure to meet you." These short, polite phrases may look simple, but they make your introduction much more complete. They show respect, friendliness, and a willingness to connect. Imagine two different situations. In the first one, someone only says, "I'm Alex." That's fine, but it feels unfinished. In the second one, someone says, "Hi, I'm Alex. Nice to meet you." Suddenly the mood changes. It feels warmer, friendlier, and more human. That's the power of just a few extra words. To help you practice, think about everyday situations where you might need to introduce yourself. In a classroom, at a party, during a work meeting, or even in an online community. In casual situations, you don't need to sound too formal. Just a relaxed, "Hi, I'm Anna," is perfect. But in professional or academic settings, it is better to say, "Hello, my name is Anna," or "Good afternoon, my name is Anna," because it sounds polite and respectful. Knowing how to switch between casual and formal introductions is like having two useful tools in your pocket. You can always choose the right one for the right situation. Let's make this practical. Repeat these sentences after me. "Hi, I'm Sarah." "Hello, my name is David." "Good evening, my name is Emily. It's nice to meet you." Each time you say these lines, focus on clarity, rhythm, and a gentle smile. The more you practice, the more natural your voice will sound. You don't need big or complicated words. In fact, simple English is always better. What matters is that your listener understands you easily and feels comfortable talking with you. Remember, every strong introduction begins with these first simple sentences, your name and a greeting. After you've introduced yourself with your name and greeting, the very next step that naturally follows is to share where you are from. This simple detail not only tells people about your background, but it also gives them something to connect with. Think about it. Once you've said, "Hi, I'm Anna," the person you're talking to is very likely to wonder, "So, where are you from?" That's why learning to answer this part naturally is a key element of a strong introduction. The most common and easiest way is to say, "I'm from plus country." For example, "I'm from Brazil," or "I'm from Japan." These short sentences are clear, easy to understand, and immediately give your listener an image of your origin. Another way you can say this is, "I come from plus country." For example, "I come from India," or "I come from Canada." Both are correct, and both are widely used by English speakers around the world. The difference is very small. I'm from sounds a little more casual, while I come from may sound a little more formal. Knowing both gives you flexibility. But don't stop at just the country name. Adding a little more detail can make your introduction more interesting. For example, you might say, I'm from Egypt. It's a beautiful country in North Africa. Or, I come from Thailand, famous for its beaches and delicious food. These extra details are simple, but they create curiosity and make your listener more engaged. You're not just giving a fact, you're inviting the other person to continue the conversation. They might respond with, Oh, I've always wanted to visit Egypt, or Really, I love Thai food. That's how introductions become conversations. If you want to sound even more complete, you can also mention both your city and country. For example, I'm from Nairobi, Kenya, or I'm from Munich, Germany. This works especially well in international groups because sometimes people may not know much about your country, but they might recognize your city. You can even combine details. I'm from Mexico City, Mexico. It's a very busy city, but I love living there. Notice how this gives your introduction a personal touch. It's not just information, it's part of your story. Another useful variation is when you want to show a change in your life. For example, I was born in Japan, but I've been living in Australia for 5 years. Or, I'm originally from Germany, but I live in Canada now. These sentences are extremely powerful because they show both your origin and your journey. They give your introduction depth and help others understand more about your life. People often find these details fascinating because it shows that you have experiences in different places. Now let's practice some examples together. Repeat after me. I'm from Argentina. I come from South Korea. I'm originally from Russia, but I live in Spain now. I was born in Italy, but I moved to the UK last year. Each of these sentences is short, simple, and flexible. The more you practice them, the easier it will be to adapt your introduction to any situation. Remember, telling people where you are from is not just about geography. It's about building bridges. It helps others see who you are, where you've come from, and it often opens the door to new connections. Combined with your name and greeting from Idea 1, this second step makes your introduction stronger, clearer, and much more memorable. Once you've told someone your name and where you are from, the next natural step in introducing yourself is to share what you do. This is one of the most common questions people ask after learning about your background. Think about it. When you meet someone new, you almost always hear the question, So, what do you do? That's why being able to answer this part fluently and naturally is so important. It doesn't just tell others about your profession or studies, it gives them a clearer picture of your life and your interests. The simplest way to start is with the phrase, I work as a, followed by your job. For example, I work as a teacher, I work as a graphic designer, or I work as a nurse in a hospital. These sentences are clear, easy to understand, and tell the listener exactly what your role is. Another useful structure is I'm a, plus your job title. For example, I'm a software engineer, I'm a chef, or I'm an accountant. Both forms are natural, so you can choose whichever feels most comfortable for you. If you are a student, you can say, I'm a student at school/university, or I'm studying subject. For example, I'm a student at New York University, I'm studying economics, or I'm currently in high school and I'm interested in science. These sentences are short but effective. They not only tell people what you do, but also give them an idea of your future direction. What if you're not working or studying at the moment? That's okay too. You can still introduce yourself honestly and positively. For example, I'm looking for a new job right now, or I'm taking a break and exploring new opportunities. These phrases sound natural and confident, showing that you are still active in your journey. You can also make your introduction richer by adding details about your experience. For example, I'm an accountant and I've been working for 5 years. I work as a nurse at a local hospital, and I really enjoy helping patients. I'm a software developer at a tech startup, and I focus on mobile applications. These sentences don't just tell the listener your job title, they give more context about your skills, experience, or passion. That extra detail makes your introduction more memorable. Let's practice some examples together. I work as a graphic designer in a media company. I'm a college student studying English literature. I'm currently looking for a new job in marketing. I've been teaching English for over 10 years. See how each sentence tells a clear story? Depending on the situation, you can keep it short or add more detail. Remember, sharing what you do is not only about giving information, it's about connecting with the person you're speaking to. Maybe they work in a similar field, or maybe they're interested in your area of study. This is how introductions become real conversations. By now, with your name, your origin, and your job or studies, you've already built a strong three-part introduction. From this point, you can go even further by adding your hobbies and interests, which we'll explore in the next step. This makes your self-introduction not just informative, but also personal and engaging. After you've introduced your name, where you are from, and what you do, the next step to make your introduction truly engaging is to add a little piece of your personal life, your hobbies and interests. Why is this step so important? Because while your job or studies explain what you do, your hobbies reveal who you are. They bring your introduction to life and help people see the real person behind the title. Imagine you just said, "Hi, I'm Laura. I'm from Spain. I work as a teacher." That's good, but it feels incomplete. Now, add a hobby. I also enjoy yoga and reading travel blogs in my free time. Suddenly, the listener has more to connect with. Maybe they also love yoga, or maybe they're curious about travel blogs. Either way, your introduction just became more memorable and personal. The simplest way to include hobbies is by using phrases like, "In my free time, I enjoy," "I love," "I spend most of my weekends." For example, in my free time, I enjoy cooking and trying out new recipes. I love playing the guitar and writing songs. I spend most of my weekends reading novels and going for long walks. These phrases are flexible, easy to use, and very natural in conversation. Adding hobbies also makes conversations flow more smoothly. If you only talk about your job or studies, the conversation might stop quickly. But when you mention something personal, you give the other person a chance to respond. For example, "I'm a photographer and I love hiking in the mountains." The listener might say, "Oh, I love hiking too. Where do you usually go?" "I'm a business student and I enjoy painting." The listener might respond, "Really? What kind of things do you paint?" See how hobbies open doors? They create opportunities for deeper connections. You can also choose hobbies that show something positive about your character. For example, "I love team sports like football," shows that you're sociable and enjoy teamwork. "I spend a lot of time reading," shows that you're thoughtful and curious. "I enjoy volunteering in my community," shows that you're kind and community minded. These small details give people a stronger, more human impression of you. Let's practice some full introductions with hobbies included. "Hi, I'm David. I'm from South Africa. I work as a photographer, and in my free time, I love hiking and exploring nature. Nice to meet you." "Hello, my name is Priya. I'm from India. I'm currently studying business administration. I also enjoy painting and listening to classical music." Notice how each example feels like a short story, not just a list of facts. That's exactly what makes hobbies so powerful. They transform your introduction from basic into memorable. And don't worry if your hobbies are simple. Even everyday things like watching movies, playing video games, or listening to music are great for conversation. What matters most is that you share something real about yourself. So, after your name, origin, and profession, adding hobbies is the perfect way to show your personality. This makes your introduction friendly, relatable, and engaging. In the next step, we'll take it even further by talking about your goals and dreams, which will show not only who you are now, but also who you want to become. So far, your introduction already sounds warm and personal. You've shared your name, where you are from, what you do, and even your hobbies. But to truly leave a strong impression, you can add one more powerful element: your goals and future aspirations. This part shows not only who you are today, but also who you want to become. It tells people what drives you, what inspires you, and what direction your life is taking. Think about it. When someone hears your name and your hobbies, they feel like they know you a little. But when you share your goals, they suddenly understand your motivation and dreams. It's like letting them see the bigger picture of your journey. And this makes your introduction far more inspiring and memorable. You can start simply with phrases like, "My goal is to," "I hope to," "I'm working towards," "I want to." For example, my goal is to improve my speaking skills so I can work in an international company. I hope to become a software engineer and develop mobile apps. I'm working towards studying abroad for my master's degree. I want to start my own business one day. These sentences are short, but they add depth to your introduction. They show ambition, determination, and a sense of direction. Let's look at a full example. Hello, I'm Ahmed. I'm from Egypt. I work in a bank and I enjoy playing football in my free time. My goal is to move to Europe and pursue a master's degree in finance. It's a pleasure to meet you. Notice how complete this introduction feels? Ahmed didn't just stop at his job or his hobby, he added a dream for the future. This makes his introduction more meaningful. Here's another example. Hi, I'm Laura. I'm from Spain. I teach English to young children, and I love yoga and reading travel blogs. I hope to write my own blog someday. Nice to meet you. Laura's introduction feels friendly, inspiring, and memorable because she shares her aspiration. Adding your goals can also help you connect with people who share similar ambitions. If you say, "I want to study abroad," and the person you're talking to has studied abroad, they might give you advice. If you say, "I hope to start my own company," and they're also an entrepreneur, you immediately have common ground. Remember, your goals don't have to be huge or dramatic. Even simple goals can sound inspiring. For example, I want to speak English fluently so I can travel more easily. I'm learning English because I dream of making new international friends. These are small, but they are real, and they show honesty. Let's practice a few more. My goal is to become a doctor and help people in need. I hope to get a scholarship and continue my studies abroad. I want to use English to explore new cultures and meet people around the world. By combining your name, background, profession, hobbies, and goals, you create a complete and powerful self-introduction. It becomes more than a routine. It becomes your personal story, told in simple, clear English. And that's the beauty of adding your goals. They give your introduction purpose, energy, and vision. They show not just who you are, but also who you are becoming.